the Career Development Center, where we're having our official ribbon cutting and grand opening of our new career seminar room where you're currently seated, and our career lab. And as we go throughout this event, there'll be some explanations as to what the different facilities are for. Before we get too far into it though, I'd like to recognize some of our favorite people on campus and important dignitaries. We have Cameron Martin back here. He is the Vice President over University Relations. Sitting next to him is Val Peterson. He's the Vice President over Administration. And Ian Wilson next to Val. He is our Vice President over Academics. Up front we have Corey Duckworth, Vice President of Student Affairs. Shad Sorensen is next to him. He's the Associate Vice President over Student Support Services. Mike Wood is going to be speaking to us. He's a student here at UVU. Marcia Haynes is the Director of Internship Services who shares this suite with us. Sherry Hafen, she is the Director of Human Resources at Novell, and she's a member of our Employer Advisory Board who helps us out a great deal. Next to her is Wally Trotter. He's the Human Resources Director at Mountain View Hospital in Payson, also a member of our advisory board, and he will be sharing some comments as well. Also here we have several students who work within the Career Development Center and or internship services. If you could raise your hand if you're one of our student and employees or interns.
Be proud.
That's right, loud and proud. And we're grateful to have them. They help us in too many ways to mention. Lealoha Pakalani, she's the Assistant Director over the Career Development Center. She specifically works with the career peers out in the Career Lab. She's also the career counselor assigned to work with the Woodbury School of Business and is the liaison there. Melinda Randall, she's our admin, our office manager, and our budget manager. Cleesa Richardson, next to her, works in employer relations. Lindsay Clegg, she is our front desk receptionist, and we have other career counselors here. Jordan Doman with the School of Technology and Trades, Computing. Gary Gardner with the School of Education. We have Tyler Nelson, our Employer Relations Coordinator. Dan Feltz out there at the door is our newest counselor and works with the School of Science and Health. And Sue Stevenson, there she is. Sue Stevenson works with College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and I struggle with that one. So, all right. Well, again, thank you for being here. We are going to move forward in our program. I just wanted to take a quick moment and tell you where we were just not that long ago. Before this, what used to be the library was remodeled. Career Services and Student Employment, as it was called then, was down on the south end of the Hall of Flags, pretty small suite, and we did what we could with our very limited space. Our conference room was also our interview rooms, and we had far fewer employees working there. Constantly been trying to increase our visibility only so we can help the students and employers become connected and help students develop a nice career plan so they're not as stressed out when they graduate. But I don't want to say much more about that until the end. I want to give our speakers a chance to talk about the value of our new facilities. So we'll start with, not according to the program, we'll have Shad Sorensen, our Associate Vice President over Student Support Services, after which Corey Duckworth, Vice President, will speak. And then we'll have Wally Trotter come up, followed by Marcia Haynes and Mike Wood, and then I'll come back up for a few closing comments prior to the ribbon cutting. So, Shad?
I told Michael Corey always says all the good things, so I was going first, so I hope that's okay. Just wanted to talk for a few minutes. As Michael mentioned, the name of the center has changed, and it's now the Career Development Center, and housed within that, of course, are all those wonderful services that you'll hear about, internships and career services. Much career exploration takes place here. But I looked for the definition of career development, and it has been defined as the interaction of psychological, sociological, economic, physical, and chance factors that shape the sequence of jobs, occupations, or careers that a person may engage in throughout a lifetime. Career development is a major aspect of human development. It includes one's entire lifespan and concerns the whole person. Career development involves a person's self-concept, family life, and all aspects of one's environmental and cultural conditions. So career development, we know, is an ongoing process. It's a lifelong process to help one learn and achieve more in their career path. We believe that our role in educating and empowering UVU students in their career development begins when they enroll in their first semester at our university, and truly never ends. Although a good soft landing is when they graduate with a degree and are in their first profession. Our center continues to support alumni through lifelong learning and also community members. Helping students realize to take control of their own career future is the first step to career growth and job satisfaction. I want to talk to our students for a few minutes. If on graduation day you want to have in one hand a diploma or a degree and in another hand a job offer or a graduate school acceptance letter, you'll need to focus your time and energy on your career development activities throughout all of your years here at UVU. By creating a personal career development plan, you will establish goals and objectives for your own career growth. This new career lab and seminar room is designed for all of our students, regardless of their class standing, freshman to senior, or where they are in the career development cycle, from fully decided to exploration. In a very short time, it is expected that we will have 40,000 students attending our university, and we look forward to welcoming each and every one of them. However, as you look at our desire to have personal, seamless, and intentional interactions with each of those students and the limited resources of the economy of the state, we recognize that we will probably not have the professional staff that is necessary. And so we have worked very hard to figure out how we can make these services scalable and meet all of the needs of our students. And part of that process is having a facility such as this, a career lab and a seminar room. The seminars, research tools, and personal counseling available in the Career Development Center has been structured to assist all students as they begin UVU through their graduation. We are very excited about the opportunities that this seminar room will provide, and I want to personally thank our administration and of course our Vice President that represents this area for recognizing the vision and for their full support. And we look forward to working with each of you to helping students achieve their dreams. Thank you.
Well, I don't think I can match that speech, Chad, but it's good to be here. It's great to see dreams and ideas come to fruition. You know, you think about being here at 9 a.m. on Monday morning. Wow. Somebody once said that Monday should remind us, or does remind us, of how important it is to choose the right career. Because, we got to be here. And they also said that, you don't want to be miserable at work. And so I think, at least for my part, I never regret or look down on the opportunity to come here to UVU and be a part of a great institution. And so I'm grateful for the career that I have that has been enriching to my life, and it's great to be here amongst you and to have the opportunity to celebrate this accomplishment. Now, I want to just share a few minutes with you some of the, before I do that, let me just say, well, I guess this is all part of it. Part of the genesis of the ideas and stuff over time that have ultimately resulted in what we're sitting in today. One of the things that I noticed when I came into my position about 9 years ago is that I would take the opportunity to talk with students in the hallway. And not infrequently, I would run into students who were getting close to graduation, and I would ask them the question, so what's next? What are you going to do next? And the most common answer I was getting to that question was, I don't know. I'll worry about that later. And that always seemed really odd to me, that you would be on the verge of graduation and you wouldn't have a window of vision for what was happening any further than that graduation. It seemed like it stopped at that point in time. And that happened enough that it started me to thinking we really need to help our students in a much more profound way. I really think and believe, and many of you have maybe heard me say this before, that making a choice about what your career is going to be has to be, it really has to be in like the top 3 decisions that you're going to make in your lifetime. We choose who we're going to worship, we choose probably who we're going to marry, spend our life with, and then we choose where we're going to spend most of our time is generally in our career. And yet, what I found over time throughout my life, and I think it's probably still pretty much true, is that we really don't do much to help people make those decisions, you know. And people are often left just to rumor, innuendo, supposition, whatever you want as they choose their career. Somebody will say, gee, you ought to be this, and so they say, okay, well, maybe I'll be that. They watch a TV show and they decide, well, gee, maybe I should be a CSI kind of cop guy. And yet they really don't know exactly what it is they're getting into, and all of those sort of theatrical portrayals of what careers are, as we all know, are probably, you know, maybe about 25% correct, and the rest is all show. And so it always troubled me a little bit that given the fact that we have such an important decision to make, that we don't take the time to educate ourselves. And so since that time, I've been an advocate of the Career Development Center and trying in every way I can to encourage us to be more available. I know the great services that are offered here. I am deeply appreciative of the wonderful counselors and leaders that we have in this division. And I see the great work that happens, and I hear the students that take advantage of this program talk about how helpful and useful and beneficial it has been to them. And yet I'm also cognizant of the fact that far, far too few of our students actually know this exists, come up here and avail themselves of the opportunities that are here, so that when they graduate, and actually long before they graduate, they have a vision and a plan and a path for where they're going. And so that's some of the genesis of what's gone into this thinking about this space here. As we think about what we do in life, I don't know who this person is. I tried to find out. I hope it's not somebody that is not a good role model. But somebody named Tanya Bianco once said, the greatest challenge in life is discovering who you are. And the second greatest challenge is being happy with what you find. And so I think it's really important for us, you know, not only to discover who we are, but to be happy when we get there, that that's who we are and that's who we really want to be. And so I think that's important to us. So as we started thinking about some space, there were a couple of things that played into this. First of all, we had several individuals across campus that were looking at this space that we're sitting in right here and saying, wow, space on UVU's campus. There ought to be some nice cubicles there and offices and things that would really, you know, help us alleviate our space crunch. And so having to fend off a few of those approaches got us to thinking we need to do something with that space before somebody else comes in with a better idea and commandeers it. Secondly, we started looking at what we had here, which was kind of an open air lab for careers, and we, you know, for people to come in and do career stuff, and we noticed that people were using the computers, but probably not using them for anything to do with career stuff, just doing their homework like a regular computer lab. So we decided we need to do something different with this space, and we need to do something that is very positive, progressive, and productive in terms of telling the story of career development services in a meaningful way. So with that, Michael and Shad and Anna Black and I took a trip, and we went up the state and we looked at our sister institutions, and we sat down in their career labs and we talked with them about their career libraries and what was going on there. And what we noticed, one of the primary things we noticed, is that in every single case when we went to their career library, there was nobody in there. Okay? And so we were thinking about, what do we do with a career library on our campus? We didn't want to have a library where when you walked by, if you could even find it on some of those campuses, kind of tucked away, that you wouldn't even see anybody in there. You wouldn't know that anything was happening because there was no one in there except for maybe one person who was running the library. So we decided that on our campus we wanted to be progressive, provide all of the services, most of which have all gone digital, and the whole library concept where there's lots of books on shelves and newspapers and things like that available for people to look at, journals, those kinds of things, that's sort of a dying ember in a way, that everything has gone digital. And so we knew that we needed to have the computer center and all of that where people could access the resources that they needed. But we also wanted to have a place that said, where people would walk by and they'd say, "What is that? What's going on in there? Why is that happening? How come there's people there? And why am I seeing Novell up on the list? And all these other companies. Why am I seeing these people? Shouldn't I be involved in that some way?" And so when we looked at this space and we looked at that view out there and we looked at what we wanted to accomplish, we said, we cannot put a wall right there, because we will be obscuring the very thing we want people to see and understand. And so, hence the development of that idea has kind of come around full circle. And here we are in a great space. From what I understand, employers have been using the facility already. We've been using it to do seminars. Students are walking by. You haven't noticed this, but as students have walked by during this very time, they're all looking like this. I mean, what more could you ask for than to have this billboard where people are looking at it and saying, "What is that?" And so from that perspective, it's really working. It's a little easy to get distracted, I will admit that. It'll probably take some practice. People have been waving, and you have a tendency to wave back when that happens. So I think it's actually accomplishing what we hoped it would. Just a couple more thoughts, and then I'll be finished here. Earl Nightingale, a noted orator, once said, "The biggest mistake that you can make is to believe that you're working for somebody else. Job security is gone. The driving force of a career must come from the individual. Remember, jobs are owned by the company, but you own your career." And I think that's important that we communicate that message to all of our students, that they're the ones that are in charge of their career. They'll have multiple jobs in the course of that career, most likely, but they need to understand and take responsibility for that career. And then the founder of Forbes magazine said this. He said, "Think not of yourself as the architect of your career, but as the sculptor. Expect to have a lot to do. Expect to do a lot of hard hammering and chiseling and scraping and polishing." And I just thought that is a really profound quote, because so much of what our careers are, it's not something that's formed in a day. It's not something that's even complete when our students graduate and leave UVU. It's just a big chunk of granite sitting there waiting for us to work on it and to chisel it out. And the more that we can arm them and educate them and provide them with the tools that they need, so they can chisel out the most beautiful career that would work to enhance and bless their lives, that's what this is all about. So I just want to express my gratitude to all of the employees in the Career Development Center. Appreciate so much Michael's leadership in this great effort. Appreciate the administration that's here for supporting this concept and allowing us to expend the funds in this way. We don't have any of the constructors here, but if they were here, I'd say thank you for creating and building such a beautiful facility that really responds to the dreams and the aspirations that we have. And so thank you so much, and congratulations to Career Development Center.
Thank you for letting me be here with you this morning. This is an awesome resource, and I hope that every one of you take advantage of this resource that's been provided for you. When I graduated from the university, I know that they had something along the lines of a career services center. I think the thought is probably similar. I knew it existed, but I had no idea where it was or what it did, and I certainly could have used it myself, trying to make that transition from gaining that degree to actually making it in the workforce. And when I graduated from the university, it was at a time when jobs were not really plentiful, and I struggled to make that transition between school and work. And in fact, my first job with a college degree started out on a phone bank making $6.21 an hour. Now today, if I paid somebody in my facility $6.21 an hour, I'd be breaking the law. You have to pay at least $7.25, that's minimum wage. And so the resources that you have available to you here to make that transition are absolutely phenomenal. If you don't use them, it's an opportunity wasted. And so I would ask each one of you, I'm sure that there will be advertisement that goes on that explains what this resource is all about, but I would ask each one of you personally to make sure word of mouth Facebook, texting, whatever it is, make sure that your fellow students know and understand what this resource is and what it's about. Because if you don't use it, that's just one more stumbling block to get you out of the starting gate from school and into that career. A career is a big choice, and you're going to spend a lot of time there. In fact, the people that come to the hospital and start with me, I remind them that you will probably spend more of your waking hours with the people you work with than you will your own family members sometimes. And so make sure that it's something that works well for you. One of the things that we like to do at the hospital, and we do this primarily for high school students, but we have also done it in the past for UVU students. We have them come in and we do kind of a healthcare career day and let them walk through and see what happens in the hospital and what goes on. And without fail, especially with the high school kids, it comes to the part where we have somebody from the emergency room come in and explain what goes on in the emergency room, and they happen to bring a set of slides with them. And I always warn the students, number one, if somebody has an accident in here, I am not cleaning it up. Number two, if the pictures get to be too much, just don't look, would you please? And there have been a number of students at the end of that presentation, actually without fail, and this is kind of a tough thing, we usually lose anywhere from 1 to 3 students. They'll be sitting there in their chair and then out they go. And I didn't think the slides were all that bad, and I am the non-clinical person in the room here. And without fail, I always have a handful of students say, you know something, the emergency room is not for me. That is the time to kind of figure out what you want to do and where you want to be. I've seen a number of students who they wait until they hit their senior year and then they avail themselves of a resource like this. As was mentioned earlier, when you're a freshman, you need to be in looking and seeing what goes on in this room and making some of those career choices before you get to that point. There could be a lot of time, energy, and money that's not necessarily wasted, but then would have to be redirected. As part of the advisory board, and I know Sherry being on that board as well, we've talked a number of times of what are some of the things that we see as employers that you as students need to do to help make that transition. Can I tell you, number one, learn how to communicate appropriately. Texting and Facebook are great. They're great tools, but they are not the end all. For me, I need nurses, I need clinicians who can come and sit at a patient's bedside and carry on a meaningful, caring conversation with that patient. Because one thing that I've noticed about your nursing students here at UVU, clinically, they are sharp. Wow, are they good. But sometimes they struggle to sit and have that one-on-one conversation with a patient. And clinically, they can be perfect, hit everything just right, but if they can't make that patient feel appreciated, cared for on a personal level, they end up thinking, gosh, that care at the hospital just wasn't all that great. That's what makes the difference. Those are the kinds of skills that I think that you can learn and that you can hone here in an environment like this. So please take advantage of what you have here. Write your resume. I know there will be courses on how do you write a resume and how do you present yourself, because when you show up to my door, you are selling yourself to me saying, I'm the person that should be here working and serving your patients. That's a huge thing. We always joke that the closest we ever come to perfection in life is on our resume. Make sure you know how to put that together the right way. Make sure that it's truthful, that it's honest, and that it's upfront. And if you'll do that, those transitions from being here in an academic setting to being in a work setting will be much smoother. I can guarantee that. Please take advantage. I think the university has done you a great service by doing this, and I appreciate being a part of that as well. Thank you.
I'm excited to be here. Before I start with my comments, I'd like my staff to raise your hands. All of you. We so appreciate what our staff does and the good work that they do with students. I'd also like to thank our Career Development Center partners. We were separated, career services and internship services were separated. We went to academics, and the Career Development Center, of course, is with Student Affairs. And since that division, we've continued to be great partners, to work together, to help students find internship and career opportunities. And as I've looked at some of our sister universities and other universities throughout Utah, there isn't another university that does this relationship and this partnership as well as we do here. And so we'd like to really thank the Career Development Center for being such great partners and in helping us develop students and help them find internships and career opportunities. Also like to thank Corey and Chad and Michael for allowing us to share in this facility. We are really excited to be able to use this wonderful facility, especially since it was completely paid for by Student Affairs. We're really grateful to be able to share in this. This is going to be a wonderful place to bring classes and internship services. We do a lot of classroom presentations, and we're all over campus carrying our little satchels and handouts, and this is going to be wonderful to bring classes here so that they can learn about the other services that are available and have this so convenient. We've already had a few classes that we've brought in here, and they have loved these services. We've had students walk by that have seen what was going on and actually come in and joined us because it looks so interesting. We'll be joining with the Career Development Center in giving some workshops on a regular basis, and so this is going to be wonderful to help students know about internships, what opportunities are there, the process. We're excited to have a facility where we can teach students and encourage them and let them know what's available to them. Also, for information sessions, we like to bring a lot of employers on campus and help them teach students, offer internship opportunities, talk to them about their companies. We had the LDS Church here recently that used this room, and Zion's Bank is scheduled for January, and we hope to bring many more employers here to find out about careers, and so our students can find out about careers and internship opportunities. Also, I want to mention the Career Library. We have been able to utilize that already. We have a lot of students that when they come in to talk to us about internships, they really need help with their resumes. And so students that are here, I would encourage you to take advantage of this wonderful opportunity. The Career Library, you can walk in there anytime and get help with the resume. There's a career peer there that's available that can get you started, and there's resources. You can use the computers, and this is going to be a wonderful thing for our students. On more of a personal level, we're grateful that it freed up a little office space for us. We've been able to take over the office that was used for the storage for the Career Development Center and internship services, and we really needed that extra office space for some of our growing staff. So we are excited about that as well. So we are very excited to have this wonderful facility. It's going to be marvelous. I love the new smart board. Sometimes I think the smart board is smarter than me, but we're really excited to be able to use these new facilities. Look forward to working with students and helping them grow in their careers, gain internships, and prepare for their future. Thank you.
Well, I'm excited to be a part of this. This is a great facility. Jordan asked me to share a little bit about my experience here with the Career Development Center and also at UVU. As Michael mentioned, I'm with the Construction Management Department. I'm a senior, and I'll be graduating in April. And for me, this center has been very personal for me. It's made a huge impact on my life and also on the construction management program. So I want to share a few thoughts on those two areas. First, for me, I've had the opportunity to take part in 2 construction internships while I've been here at UVU, as well as I'll be starting my third in January. And I tie all of those experiences back to this Career Development Center. Jordan has been the one that I've worked with personally. He's the one that's been working with our department. But I tie everything that I've been able to experience back to this center. The things that I've learned here have been able to help me further my career, my education, and get those opportunities. And as I thought last night about what I was going to say, in my opinion, if every student, the 30,000 plus students that attend this university, if they were to actually invest the time in this Career Development Center and come and learn what they need to, they would be able to further their careers and they'd be able to find jobs. To me, that's a big thing, is coming here and learning those necessary skills and preparing yourself for a career. Over the past 2 years, I've been able to be very involved with the leadership of the construction management program here at UVU. And in turn, I've been able to be involved with Jordan Doman quite a bit as well. And as we've worked together, and I've worked with the Career Development Center for myself in the program, we've been able to increase the presence of the construction management program here in the state. We were amazed at the amount of companies that did not know that we even had a construction management program here at UVU. So we've been able to do a lot of work to really put this program on the map. It's only 4 years old, it's new, and so the work that the Career Development Center has done with our program has been absolutely critical. And I attribute the success of our program to this center, to the efforts that the center has put into our program, as well as Jordan individually. So I'm grateful in many ways for the Career Development Center, for this new facility. I was able to watch it be built from a construction standpoint. That was also interesting to me. But great things are happening here, and I truly see this center as kind of a symbol of what this university is doing, the progress and movement that it's making. Just a couple last thoughts. I was actually talking with my wife last night, and we were talking about kind of the differences between students who really are pushing for experience and do the things that will set them apart, instead of just kind of going through the motions, getting the degree, and thinking they'll apply for a job. I've realized over the last year and a half it takes a lot more than that. It takes a lot more than just going through the motions, getting your classes done, doing what you need to, and getting that degree, that piece of paper. In today's market, I've learned that just doesn't work. It's just not going to happen. You've got to set yourself apart. You've got to get out and do internships. If there's one thing I can say, and the majority of you here probably already understand this, but as a student, as you see other students, encourage them to get into internships. I know many of them may be apprehensive, saying, I don't want to do that kind of work, or I don't want to take the pay cut, or I don't, things like that. It doesn't matter. That's the most critical thing you can do in school, is get an internship, even if it's just for a short amount of time. There's a lot of industries, including construction, you have to have experience to get a job. It's absolutely necessary. We're seeing that in our own program. There's many students who are going through the motions, getting their degree, don't feel internships are super important, or coming to the Career Development Center are important. But I'm seeing that it's hard for them. It's hard for them to get a job. It's hard for them to get that exposure. And so I know that coming to this Career Development Center has been critical for many students in our program and for this university. And I just want to thank the people in this Career Development Center who make it run, who make it successful every day, as well as the internship services. There's a lot of great things happening, and it's attributed to you for the work you do. And again, I truly believe that if every student at this university would come here, they would be able to further their career in many different ways. I think a lot of people, me included, I did not understand the impact of this center and what can be done here. And I think as we get more and more students in here, that will change. As a construction program, we're working to get more and more students in here, because the ones that are coming in here are getting internships, they're getting jobs, and they're seeing the effects of it. So again, I just want to encourage everyone here, students to get out and encourage your friends, the people you meet, to get in here and take advantage of these opportunities with both preparing your business documents and as well as getting internships. And again, I want to thank those who make this center so successful, and just, to all of you, never stop believing in what you're doing for the students. You're doing more than you may realize, but you have great power and influence over us as students. So again, I just want to thank the Career Development Center for all they do, and for the experiences I've had here. Thank you.
All right, thank you, everybody who has taken some time and spoken to us. I did want to recognize just a couple other people. I'm glad that Marcia had her folks wave their hand and say hello. Marin is our internship coordinator here in the area. Definitely wanted to individually point her out as well. Also, we have in the suite up here the Institute for Professional Engagement, which Sherry Harward is over, and that's an amazing program that students need to know about. It can track your progress through college and really be the additional difference that gets you the career that you're looking for and that clarification. So as you come up to this area, be sure to check out what the IPE, Institute for Professional Engagement, offers as well. And lastly, before we move over to the ribbon cutting, I want to thank our facilities department, specifically Jim Michaelis and Stacy Ham, who were the ones who coordinated everything from the concept design to finding the right construction company to this whole thing coming to fruition. So we appreciate what they've done in that regard.